I hired in $2.86 an hour.
You got one more minute? 1 minute, Member Spurgeon.
I remember I filed somewhere back in the early 80s.
All right, I'll call it. I see we have a quorum for this meeting. I'll call the regular meeting of the directors of the Stewart-Houston Industrial Park to order. First thing on the is you all should have received in your package, informational package, minutes from last meeting, the financial statements, bills. You received the bills. Floor is open for a motion to allow me first to transfer the ship checking tomorrow, $2,200.
So move.
That includes transfer and paying the bills, correct?
Yes.
Second, long. Second, come on, second.
Second.
Yeah, okay. Chris, motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Let it know by saying aye. Motion carried. Okay. We don't have, I don't have anything for old business on this board, do you? Old business?
I don't turn that to you.
No, I don't have anything in mine. New business. Mr. Alan Ford, would you come? Mr. Ford is representing Kendall Morgan, who is the pipeline company that proposes to come across our. You're welcome to view where we built on.
Spin
Spin it around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like a microphone?
Nope, I don't think I need one.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. As you mentioned, my name is Alan Four. I'm Vice President with Kinder Morgan. And here to talk about our proposed crossing of the industrial park. So let me just start by talking about where we are with this project. This is what we call our Cumberland project, and it's about 31 miles of pipe, beginning in Dickson County and ending in Stewart County near the fossil plant. And it's all about transporting natural gas from our existing pipeline system to the new facility, which will be transitioning from coal to natural gas. So we're in, our major customer here is TVA. We're doing this at their behest and according to the specs that they have provided for us. So we've received our federal authorization for this project. This is a federally regulated interstate natural gas pipeline extension. So the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission is the primary regulator. We do have state permits that we need as well, and those are in process. Ideally, we'd like to, and land acquisition has been underway. We're about 70% complete with land acquisition, over 70%. We would like to start construction this fall, initial construction activities, and be in service in 2025. Yes, 2025. Obviously the pipe has to connect in all places, and we've worked to adjust our route in many ways to accommodate individual landowner concerns and accommodations as best we can. So the route we have is generally where the pipe is going to be. And part of that is through the industrial park. We've been thinking about ways to improve our proposal to the board and to the counties. And I've had discussions with lots of folks about, and from my background too, I try to resolve situations like this where perhaps we come in with an initial offer from a contract land agent that isn't the best proposal that we could come up with. I know that we want to have an accommodation with the board and the counties to make this work, where you feel you're being treated fairly. We were able to get this important pipeline in service, and I think there's a way we can do that. And there are lots of things we can do to make this more, what I hope will be more acceptable to the board. So one of the things is, and what I'd like to be able to do, and obviously you're the decision makers, but I'm just throwing this out there for discussion, is lay out some general concepts and parameters of what we're proposing, get your reaction to that, and if you're comfortable with it, give me a sense of direction that that's how you'd like us to go, and then we can come back and our lawyers can work on the details and drawing up the proper agreements and doing all the work that they need to do, but the general principles that we have, I want to outline tonight. So if you look at your map, this is this map, you can see where our proposed route is. It's the yellow line. So this is a 50-foot permanent easement. This is an underground buried natural gas line.
How deep?
Well, it's generally 3 feet, but I'm proposing a deeper crossing for your parcel. I'll talk about that in a minute. So 50 feet of permanent easement, or whatever we ultimately decide here, and additional 75 feet of temporary workspace. So the yellow is the actual permanent right-of-way for us. The checkered black checks are temporary construction workspace, and the red line is the center line of the pipe. So to your question about depth of cover, and future use of this property for other purposes or potential need to cross our line, we can, in anticipation of future, that might happen in the future, we'll lower the line to this parcel. And a typical footage is moved to 6 feet to accommodate potential road traffic that may come across in the future. So I'd say a minimum of 6 feet that we put across this parcel.
Of cover.
Of cover, yeah, from the top of the pipe to the ground. Minimum 6 foot of cover. Obviously, you can check with your engineers and the county and such, but that's generally an accepted depth of cover for traffic. We were just in Danville, Kentucky yesterday, where we have a project that is accessing their water tower, and they're coming across our line with an asphalt road for regular traffic and potential truck traffic, and that is about 5 feet. So it's just, I think that's a standard plus a little extra, should accommodate anything that needs to come across there in the future. The second is, this is kind of an orphaned spot here because our pipelines come across there. What I would propose is that we purchase in fee, you basically cut across here as a straight line, so this whole triangle piece we would purchase from the industrial park, and we would own that. At I think 25,000 an acre is a number that I would propose on that, but we can certainly discuss that further. But I don't know how many acres that is. I'd say 4 to 5 acres. It might be more, but we can survey that and figure out what that is. But so we would own that property. And then to accommodate future needs to potentially cross this, say there's a development, one of these developments need to get to this development. Depends on what you put that in. We don't want to cut you off from the rest of your industrial park. So we would put as part of our agreement, this comprehensive agreement of purchasing and fee, lowering the pipe, and we would have whatever the legal determination is here, but an easement for lack of something else, but an agreed upon path and crossing across the line with a rough end of a gravel road, so that you have not only a way to get from here to here, but also a place where it can be generally understood that that's where that's going to be. That's another accommodation we often make with developers, is having that little rough end, so you have that 10-foot or whatever it might be area of crossing. The pipe is buried to a depth, folks know, and you have guaranteed access across that in the future. Whatever, I'm thinking of document, whatever that might be, that we can legally make this work. Those are my general thoughts on making, because I know right now I think we've got a $20,000 easement offer on the road, so put that aside. That's not our offer anymore. This is where I'd like to go, and this is what I'd like to propose, and I'd be interested in the comments from the board or others on conceptually if that might work.
Why are you going that way and not going the first route?
The first route.
Following the 500
the
easement.
transmission.
Ken, you want to comment on that?
Certainly.
I know we have to veer off, but.
Yeah, we do have to veer off at the end of the route into TDA's property. We also want it to be on the back side of those businesses there on the right side of your page. So the transmission line goes here. We're actually ending over here, so we do have to veer off, and we don't want to cut off the front access of these businesses. So going back here, the further out.
The transmission line, if I'm not mistaken, goes across the creek here.
That's correct.
Yeah, you pointed
Yeah.
over here.
Yep. No, we're good, but we're going to end over here. We're not following the transmission line all the way in. We have to end there.
Who do you cross? Chris Pitts, you have easement here with Christopher Pitts.
Mhm.
Is he the last property before you get to Wells Creek?
Yes.
I mean, if
Is
you
he-
guys want to weigh in on that, I don't know
Yes.
the particulars of the
Okay.
landowner.
And your access that you propose to let us come in, concrete would be a lot better, and it would be better than wider, need to be wider
Okay.
than 10 feet.
I'm,
Because it gets wet, and then the trucks, we might have concrete trucks coming in, we might have back dumps coming in to fill that. Our engineer says we're allowed to fill in with a permit, to fill in that
so you're
track.
talking about in an area of a, whatever it is, 15 feet or whatever,
Where this goes
Yeah,
in.
to go, yeah.
concrete on top of there,
Yeah.
just as a, rather than a gravel fill, a
Sure,
concrete.
then it won't,
I don't see a problem with that, we can do that.
well, it would be better off,
Yeah.
looks like to me, for you
That's-
all.
Then we are clear on where it's going to be now and in the future, and the engineers
We're
can work
working
that
on
out.
that, we think it'll be in between the concrete plant and the city of Aaron's sewer plant.
Okay,
But myself, I'm not gonna vote to sell it to you, then y'all are in control. I mean, you're gonna be anyway, but at least we can access, you know. You keep us
if you
off.
prefer we not buy it, we can, that's okay
Well,
too,
that's
I mean,
The lease, the easement, to me, would be better,
okay.
and that's just me. Here's 7 more, or 6 more tonight. They have to say,
I don't think we need to do some checking on this, not vote on this bam tonight.
it's strictly up to the board too.
Okay, I'm at a loss. Why wouldn't you want to decide that? Because it's not something that we can use.
Pardon?
It's not an area, it's a triangle. You're not gonna be able to build anything or put anything there.
You don't know in the future.
Behind all
It's
that,
behind, it's to
behind
it's to get
Seth's
to it.
property, all that can be filled eventually.
It borders the sewer plant property that we gave to them. The park gave that to them. And it also borders the LMI concrete plant. That would be easy access for them, or easy access for earth movers to get to that. This is forever. This isn't just 5 years down the road.
That's a weak argument.
Pardon?
To me, that's a weak argument. Because we already know right now that the land is not usable unless we bring in tons and tons of dirt. to fill it up.
Somebody might do that, but if we sell that to them, then they won't do that.
But you're only
Have
selling a
access to
small
bring the
portion
dirt
of
in.
it. How many acres are in that piece?
The Nolan tract is 47 acres or something. I don't know how many's in there.
Well, it's, yeah, you're probably not gonna sell them, but I don't know how many acres it is, but let's just say it's 8 acres or whatever. You're still gonna have 40 acres down there.
What I'm saying is keep access to it.
But he's giving you access, he's gonna,
No, not if he buys it, he's not, right?
No, if we
No.
would give you an access, so you've got that road that you want us to fill, you know, the concrete. So you'd have to get from somewhere into that across our property. So you'd have access across the property. There's not going to be a road to nowhere. So the crossing that we'd have to work out a way that there's an easement, and I don't know what it would be, but an instrument that gets you able to cross the property into the other side of our property.
I understand that. I do. But I would, this is me. Like I say, They don't want to vote on it
I mean,
tonight, fine with me.
it,
I don't know what.
at the will of the board, I mean, we are willing to buy less or strict with the original easement. I mean, I thought it would be cleaner if we did purchase the whole piece and gave you access as you need, you know.
Have you purchased any other property on your line?
Have we purchased any in fee on this project?
Probably maybe an access point, or
What's that?
Above ground.
Yeah, for above ground facilities, but not for regular pipe. But let me tell you this, we regularly purchase property simply for pipeline crossings,
I'm
because
sure
we
you
don't
do.
want to have an adversarial proceeding, so we will purchase. But what I'm hoping to get though, I know you don't want to vote tonight, but if we can get, I want to get to something that at least a majority of the board is willing to accommodate. So I'm open to lots of suggestions, but we want to try to come back to you with a specific proposal that's going to address these things.
well, as I said, we have one member absent.
Right?
And I'd just rather wait till we're all here to cast our vote. That's me. It's strictly up to them. If they want to bring it up, vote on it.
Let me ask you a question. How are they gonna get to the property anyway? Because it's currently, from the side that he's coming at, it's blocked by the Tennessee Cryogenics, by the concrete plant, and by the city of Vera. So where are they gonna
And
come in
them,
at?
they have access. You traded with the Cryogenics, didn't you? Have you got an easement from them?
We've got an easement on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can access through our property, through our existing
And
easement.
one
We
thing
have,
about Lewis,
we have access, that's part of our easements, we have to have access to maintain our pipeline
I understand that.
across but we don't have access to any of the private property, and we can't get off of our right of way, our 50-foot.
I think we need to see both proposals. One for just the easement, and then have a clear idea of how much property is in that triangle. And then what the proposal would be for purchasing property as well. So that both options were available for review.
Do you hear what she said?
Yes.
Okay, I'm still hung up, I don't understand. Okay, we have the rest of the property. They got, let's just say that they've got it, it's there. How are you gonna get people into that piece of property anyway? I mean, for years we've talked about it's all lowland, we have to fill it in, but where are they gonna access it from?
Below Rye Engineering's track.
Okay, that's what I thought, so they're.
But what I'm saying, we keep an access on the other end. The other end, if we needed to haul, if LMI needed to haul, whoever we traded with, or the company that buys it, for concrete, for dirt, for backhoe, we're not, like I say, we're not looking at 5 years down the road, we're looking forever. I think we have a moral obligation to not,
Take care of the park
that's me.
and not just have it overdue.
Okay, I'm gonna make a suggestion on that, and I think that Vicki is correct. I think we should have 2 options that you bring back next
Okay.
month. All right, one is the easement that you've talked about in the past, however that wants to happen. And then I'd like to see you come back with the fact that you want to buy, how much land's there, I'm not sure, that'd be an estimate. But then, you know, if you want to buy for 25 an acre, if you're going to create a road over it, concrete or roughed in gravel, that's fine. Whatever the proposals are. But bring both proposals back to us. Let's take a look at it. That gives us a month to look at it. But your attorneys can draw up both proposals, present it to us next month to make a decision. Does that sound reasonable to you?
Yes, so I understand. I understand the purchase one, because that's the one I
Right.
outlined. But the other is,
Well, I don't understand the other one either. so-
okay, but it would be an easement,
Right,
like we have listed here, but it would include a crossing.
Concrete.
Right. So that would only then, we wouldn't need any other access pieces except for the crossing. because the others you retain ownership on. Okay, yeah, you can do that.
Attorney,
Yep, yep.
Yeah, along those same lines, your access is gonna be by means of the other easements you've got across, IMI
Right.
and others there. In the second or third paragraph on the second page of the proposed right-of-way easement, you've got something different in here about that you can, cross, any other adjacent contiguous properties of Grand Forks. And would you remove that paragraph?
Yes.
You will
Yes,
remove
we
that?
would.
Okay.
We're going to, these are standard agreements. And we will make accommodations as best we can. At the end of the day, we need a 50-foot easement to operate our pipe and the ability to construct
what's the
it. So-
construction?
What's that?
I didn't mean to interrupt. What is the width of your construction easement?
75 feet on top of the 50. So 50,
125 total.
125 feet tall.
The construction easement will go away and it'll go back to 50 feet wide.
Correct.
Would it be a way to get the proposals, and I like the idea of the two proposals in writing, that way we can read them and make notes and understand. Would it be a way to get them before our meeting? Email to us or mail to us? That way we could,
That would be the plan, and we'll work, I'm sure we can accommodate that to get you a proposal for review. It may need some revisions, I'm sure you may have some changes, but we're motivated to get this done, and we'll get you something so you can look at.
I'd like to, myself, I think if we're gonna do two proposals, I'd like to get it before the meeting instead of.
We could get it
Yeah.
at least a week.
Yeah,
We'll target a week before the meeting.
and then when
Okay.
I read it, I can highlight it.
Is that good? A week before? That gives us 3 weeks.
You need to send it.
You'll be sending it to him.
I'll email them to you and I'll have the secretary email them out.
Yeah, I think
And
if
you
you
understand the
understand
problem,
something to read,
the problem that we have with the
Or
public
part-time.
body is the sunshine law. So they can't discuss this outside the meeting amongst themselves. So they need to read it all beforehand, and the quicker you get it to us, the better.
Right.
So that we can
And then we can be here then to
review it,
answer
and
any
then they can have a
questions.
thorough discussion here in
Yes.
public,
Yeah.
because they can't discuss it outside.
Right.
So that's the problem.
If we have it a week in advance, we should be able to give you an answer at the end of the next meeting then.
yeah, I think
That would be great.
Good.
Hey, Alan, I have a question.
Yeah.
For the body. Sid,
Yeah.
do y'all have a copy of the current easement agreement?
The current what?
Easement
That's what he's
agreement.
referring to. He
What
has it.
Sid's talking about?
Yeah.
Do they
That's what you
have,
were just
You sent it
referencing.
to me.
do they have copies of it though, the members?
No,
Board members don't.
Okay,
You-
why don't I give that to you today, and you can look at it, and if you have any comments, you can't talk among yourselves, but you can let Sid know, and he can let me know, and that way we can address those now as opposed to waiting until the next meeting. Does that make sense?
I looked that over. He's already said he'd make some changes.
I understand, and we're happy to make that change, and I can make that change and send you that, or it would be nice to have input from the board members in advance of the meeting.
Well, I know one thing's gonna change is the dollar amount.
Yeah, well, right now it's blank, so, yeah,
I think you should still mail it like we've asked you to do.
okay, that's fine.
Send it to him, and then
Well, and
You're
again,
gonna
mail
send
get
this
it
to-
out to us a week ahead of time.
I think what we do know is
Yeah,
Fair.
from the standard agreement that you have now, that's what you were just referencing. We are going to make the change in it that will accommodate for the crossing.
Right.
We are going to make the change in it with depth of cover. Going to be 2 significant changes, and we're going to make a change in the dollar amount. I think it actually says $20,000 in
Yes,
the agreement.
that's
It
what-
does.
Both of your easement acquisitions.
So 3 significant alterations. And I think all that we're saying is if anybody had any other things that your attorney or others that wanted to include, but that to me, those are going to be the 3 material changes in our proposed easement document that we give to you, is the amount, the crossing, what was the third one?
Lowering the cover.
lowering the
That's
cover.
actually for his comment.
And his
about
comment,
the
that's for.
Contiguous
Yeah, and
property.
his comment about that, yeah. And then the other document would be completely separate, and we'll have to create that.
And, you know, everybody's got busy schedules. Nobody, we don't all know that everybody will be able to read that within a week and digest it and discuss it or do whatever. If you could get it to us at least a couple of weeks beforehand, please. That would, I think that would, because we've got to, you know, get it out to everybody and,
23rd of April.
we're not all people that have offices and we're looking at emails constantly.
Yeah.
Some may not even look at their email until tomorrow if they get it by email. So, you know, but
I think most of the items, even in the new, these are simple effects. These can be done in a day. The rest of it, I mean, the document has to be created. We have to memorialize what we've been talking about. We got to figure out how much property we're talking about, which would take some surveying out there, things like that are a little longer lead items. But again, we're going to do our best, and we'll strive for 2 weeks. I certainly give 1 week, and probably the other document too could come even certainly within 2 weeks. I don't see why we can't do that. But anyway, I got your point. We'll strive for about 2 weeks, no later than 3.
You still have 30% that you hadn't acquired the easements for or buying the property
Yep.
in this project. So
Yep.
we're not holding up the,
No, you're not holding anything up, but we do we want to be on the right path.
I
I
understand
mean, this is
that.
going to take a while to get done, but what I'm trying to get, and what I'm going to get to, is an accommodation with you that you're satisfactory with, and then we'll paper it up and do all the things we need to. But I think we've got 2 options ahead of us that one of them will hopefully work, or some slight variation from that. Am I getting the sense? I know you can't absolutely commit to that, but am I getting the sense that that's where we are?
I think, in my opinion, we are, because then I'll be able to look at both and make a decision. I do have one other question for that, though. And if we have somebody that comes and wants your product in the industrial park,
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at.
can we get access to the gas there? Or I don't know how that works, if you need to put in something now or it needs to be done later.
So we don't need to put anything in now because this is an open access line. We're required to keep space on this line for future access. Now, there are a whole host of things that go into that on what is legitimate future access. A person can't go up and access gas for their home or to fill a tank or something. But you know, there are many examples across our 80,000-mile network of accommodations for various interests that are interested in accessing the supply. Typically, the access is by utility, because utility has the infrastructure and the experience and the retail piece of it to get out to homes and businesses. We don't do that. We're the long haul. We're the highway. So
who's your local person or company that does that? Is that Dickson Gas or?
I don't.
Dickson Gas is out
We
there
don't have
now.
any
We have
delivery
it come see.
in this county now. So whatever utilities are servicing the area are potential future customers of this system. But because an access it's not unusual, but it's not uncomplicated either. There has to be all kinds of commercial agreements put in and engineering issues, and you're taking a 30-inch pipe down to a small pipe. So, but big picture, it's possible, but typically utilities are going to do that, or in large industrial users, another one.
My question there is that, okay, let's say that it is Dickson Gas, I have no idea what they provide. But if they're the utility company and they come in, we get a company that comes in and says, look, I need natural gas, I need lots of it because I'm going to be pushing XY product through there and I'm going to need some big hills. And so at that point, it is feasible then.
Absolutely, and we regularly entertain commercial interests of
Greater
future.
Dickson Gas Authority is the one that services the park.
The what?
Greater Dickson Gas
Okay.
Company is in the park now.
Okay, okay. And that's for natural gas or propane? or-
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. But it's regularly a inquiry of ours for companies that want to locate into an area. One of the questions they ask is there potential access to natural gas?
Right.
And we're part of those discussions, so absolutely, yeah.
This is just a meeting to find out facts and see what you want to do. Because we just, all of us heard different things about what you're going to do. And it's the first time I've heard anybody firsthand say what you proposed. And you've been mentioning a 30-inch pipe. Is that what your pipe's going to be?
Yes.
Okay, now is there potential that you'll at some time increase the size of that pipe?
So if we were to propose and increase more another pipe, that would be a whole different process of regulatory approval, landowner discussion, permitting, and all of that. Plus, our 50-foot easement is not big enough to handle another pipe. So, because we have to have 25 foot of separation with our pipes. So we need additional right-of-way. We'd have to come back and start this process all over again. We try to construct these pipes because it is an expensive and complicated and burdensome process to construct these. We're thinking about not only today, but 20 years from now. And we want to build big enough. That's why we could go up to 42 inches. We could go up much bigger. But our commercial folks have looked at this, and this pipe, now you could have additional ways to add compression to the line or other things that don't require additional pipe that wouldn't change the nature of the pipe itself or the actual right-of-way. But we have, what we are putting in now is what we anticipate we were going to need. Now, I can't stay here and say absolutely under no circumstances will never be a proposal to build additional infrastructure. But
What's the pressure?
does this go up to 1480? Potentially?
700.
What's that?
700.
This is 700?
That's 7.
Okay. Our long haul 42 inches go up to 1460, 1480. This may be planned initially for less, but I will say that pressures can, one of the things you can do on a pipeline is if it's a lower pressure like that, and the steel that we particularly put in, if it can accommodate additional higher pressures, that can be done. Oftentimes in peak times, there may be additional draw on the line where you put more gas into the line. Really cold times, really warm times, when you have to have extra electric generation, which this is going to be helping to do so. But the standard pressure, we'll get that for you, what you're initially planning.
Any more questions?
And I don't know if it makes any difference to the board members or not, as to what size the pipe is. But they just need to be clear on whether it's going to be a 30-inch pipe or if there's potential for it to be a larger pipe, if that makes a difference to them. I don't know if it does, but it may. And the only way they're going to find out is if you tell us tonight. So you're saying then there's potential for you all to replace that pipe with a larger pipe?
Well, we are authorized for a 30-inch pipe. So this is not me just saying it tonight. This is part of our federal filings. This is public record. So we only can put a 30-inch pipe into this right-of-way, this authorization. If we wanted to replace this pipe, and it's very rare that we replace a brand new pipe, you would do other things. You would loop it. It means maybe add on a side to it in some places. You would add compression to it. Very rarely do you put in a brand new pipe that's built to last for 60, 70, 80 years and replace it. You keep that pipe. So 30 inches is what we're authorized. We don't have any plans to do it. But further than that, we don't have any authority. It is what we have been approved by the federal government to do, as well as the other agencies that are part of it.
But you got a provision in the
Scared me.
proposed lease. I mean,
These,
easement that would allow you to increase the size of the pipe.
Right?
you need that in there?
We would still need to come back and negotiate for workspace and other items. But I can't commit to not removing that language because that has already been agreed to across 70% of the project, that language. So we'd have to discuss that.
How deep are you, how much cover are you gonna have when you go Wells Creek, across Wells Creek?
What, are we doing any kind of special crossing there?
Wells Creek is a horizontal directional drill, and 750 is the
750, okay, 750 is our max on there.
And how much cover?
So this is going to be a drill underneath. So we'd probably be, I would say, generally is 10, 15 or more feet. Yeah, I believe under the bottom. That's under the bottom.
Understand.
Yeah.
Any more questions for Mr. Ford?
I'm not familiar with easements and gas pipelines. Are there any environmental concerns that we should be aware of with that go along with gas pipelines?
So natural gas, it is and remains a gas. It's methane. So if you're referring to a potential release of gas,
I meant more like the chemicals that you might use to push the gas along or lubricants and
it's
things
methane.
in the process.
no,
So there's no pump stations that you have to worry about?
no. We do have compressor stations, but they're simply to increase the pressure and keep the gas moving along the line. This is natural gas. It's lighter than air, so it's not a products line, so it's not going to be into the ground if there's an issue, so it goes up. But it is methane.
Are there any restrictions on how close any building or any business or anything like that could be to a pipeline?
The restriction is, and is often utilized, is right up to the edge of our right-of-way.
Okay.
We will have construction right up to it. You cannot, on top of the 50-foot easement that we have, build permanent structures, long-rooted trees. But very often, particularly in congested areas, subdivisions and others will abut right up to the edge of our right-of-way, but there is not a restriction.
So the federal government thinks it's safe to do that, to have a structure up to the edge of the right of way.
They don't have a prohibition against that. I don't want to speak for what they think or they don't think. But
Yeah, I understand.
Thank you.
All right,
Any more
thank you very much. Well, I think we know where we need to go. Appreciate your time and working with us on it. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any other business. Anybody else have any other business?
Move we adjourn.
Next meeting.
Howard, Sergeant. Next meeting, 23rd of April, 5:15. Second?
Second.
Yes. Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Adjourn.